Welcome in everybody. We can turn the volume up. Welcome in. I'll let you all get into the room. I am a couple of minutes early. So, welcome in everybody. Let's all share out. Tonight we are going out on the Clan of the Mystical Realms on Facebook. We are also going out on Drew's Paranormal Vlog on Facebook. And also my Drew's Paranormal Vlog on YouTube. So, welcome in everybody on all those platforms tonight. Let you all get into the room. Have a cigarette. I'll share out, guys. I haven't got my phone down with me. It is on the charger and my tablet is actually out of battery. So we're winging it tonight, guys. Wait, we'll share out. Liam's home. Hi, son. Welcome in, everybody. I know I'm early, so I'm not worried. Let me have a little look. See, I went through this book before. Welcome in, everybody. Please share out. And I won't be reading out any of the history or anything of alchemy. I'll just begin straight into the teachings. So if you want to do any of the research on how alchemy first started, remember, definitely go through history. You can look it up online and things. Or I do recommend that you buy this book, The Idiot's Guide to Alchemy, by Dennis William Hawke. Welcome in, Iron Sis. I'm early. So I recommend that you buy this book, guys, if you can. Even try and look out for it in second-hand stores. It's The Idiot's Guide to Alchemy by Dennis William Hawke. And there's where I got to in the book, where Liam's picture is. So I got to where? Universities, I think, the science of magic. That's where I got to. So it'll be interesting because I've not done the last part either. I just got it by then. So let's take the bookmark out. I'm going to note that on the page. Got to here. Right, okay, so I am now restarting as well along with you guys. So this is what I said. Andrea Miller Brown bought myself on the 2nd of the 9th. Hope to bring my mic forward. I bought this on the 2nd of the 9th, 2018. I had saw a few YouTuber witches use this book and almost all of them recommended it along with the Emerald Tablet. As I'm starting this book, I hope to get out it the real passion and knowledge of instructions on how to obtain the ultimate knowledge to cast successful spells. So that was my intent when I was reading this book. I like used to see my altar all that up. It empowers me to see it in the background. So it'll empower you guys. That's what it's there for, empowerment. So I hope everybody coming in is getting their books and things all ready and their pens. And remember, the video will be there to keep going over, guys, at your own speed. Tonight we also have got a live stream at 11 o'clock on Sister Sherry's channel, and I will be sharing the link to that at the end. That'll be on PWI. I don't know if this is monetized or not, this video. Did you see if it was monetized? Was there adverts come up? I'm not sure if it should be monetized or not, to be honest, because it's not my knowledge. I'll need to put it in the description. Just noting that for the robots, The Idiot's Guide to Alchemy by the Dennis William Hawke is not my book. I am only sharing this as knowledge to the community to help them grow. And that's for the robots. You don't notice, Sire? It probably isn't, because usually I have to go in and monetize it, and my phone's out of charge. So it's on the charger. I'll do a little bit of an introduction while I'm waiting for people coming in. So the introduction to alchemy. The roots of alchemy are buried in the shifting sands of ancient Egypt, as the craft developed from writings attributed to divine beings who are said to have come to Egypt over 10,000 years ago. The scribe Thoth, considered the first alchemist and also the father of music, mathematics, astronomy, and agriculture, recorded the wisdom of the ancient visitors and sealed his writings in the two great pillars that became known as the Pillars of Hems. According to legend, the pillars were rediscovered thousands of years after the Greek flood and hidden away in an isolated temple in the western Egypt. The city of Alexandria was founded to study and translate the sacred texts, and from there the ancient spiritual technology of alchemy spread throughout the world. And you've got a little magician here and a normal man. See them? And the magician is saying to the man, yes, you've got the job as an alchemist's apprentice, and no, that uniform isn't mandatory. Welcome in, everybody. I'm just reading a little bit of an introduction to it, so don't panic. I've not started yet. So that's a little bit of an introduction. Let's see what else they say. Right, this is if you want to help teach how this book is organised. This book is divided into 6 sections. Introduction to Alchemy is part 1, traces the roots of alchemy into the distant past and shows how the discipline developed from the mythic writings of godlike beings into the practice treacheries of Alexandrian alchemists. From alchemy's origin, ancient Egypt, to the founding of the Great Library. The basic tenets of alchemy were well developed long before the heyday of the medieval alchemists. So basically, chapter 1 is going to be like a kind of history of it, I must say then. But to let you understand, I will have to read the full thing to you for you to get it, because it's the way I learned it, and I don't want to start skipping chapters and then you might get confused. So, chapter 1 is the apprentice in alchemy, the apprenticeship in alchemy. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to start at 1:15. So if anybody is wanting to take the notes down and things, you are welcome to go back over it. But I'm going to read as much as I can within the hour. Maybe an hour and a little bit, because I have got a live stream at 11 o'clock on Sister Sherry's channel, and I welcome you all to come over to do that, because Sister Sherry's going to do music and dance, I do believe, and I'm going to do some candles and some intention spells. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the 5 main elements candles. I'm going to get blue, white, black, purple, brown, I do believe. I don't know yet. I'll figure that out once I get to it. And for the 5 elements, and I'm going to push out my intent to the world to be balanced this week, and also a little bit of healing. I'll probably do Uncle Danny's own candle, but also a little bit of healing and everybody to put in positive energy. So definitely come along at 11 o'clock at PWI, Spiritual Investigators, and I will put the link into the chat, guys, or on my community wall. So this will be interesting to you. So it'll be interesting for you to. Why study alchemy? I'll read this out. But why should you spend your time trying to penetrate the alchemist's code language and learn the age-old secrets of alchemy? What relevance does alchemy have today? Surprisingly, the ancient discipline, which dates back at least 2,000 years, has much to offer the modern world. The universal principles which the alchemists discovered apply to all levels of the physical, mental, and spiritual realms. Whether you are working in the artist studio or a boardroom in a lab developing healing tinctures, or in a clinic as a therapist, or in the inner laboratory of your own soul and spirit, alchemical techniques will help you make the transformation you desire. The art of transformation reveals the hidden chemistry of change, underlining an enormous variety of subjects ranging from psychological transformation and personal relationships to the formation of stars and planetary systems. In fact, alchemy has achieved more respect today from the general public and among scholars than any time in the last 400 years. Swiss psychologist Dr. Carl Jung, 1875 to 1961, is credited with returning alchemy to its rightful stature in academia, which, with its developing of deep psychology, which he based on the universal symbols of alchemy that appeared in the patient's dreams. Jung made the ancient operations of alchemy viable tools in helping the patients achieve psychological wholeness. Even in such unexpected areas of economics, one can find many serious works crediting the effectiveness of alchemical principles. Recently, H.J. Beinwanger, director of the Institute of Economical and Ecological at the University of St. Giles in Switzerland, so basically wrote a breakdown book called Money and Magic, in which he urged economists to stop using the term mainstream economics and substitute it with alchemical economics as a more descriptive name. He contends that economic development more as a form of alchemy than finance, while putting the job title of alchemists on your resume may not bring in a flood of efforts. Thinking of yourself as a practicing alchemist in the workplace can bring unexpected rewards and advancements. So let's look at the different kinds of modern alchemy and see how they can help you get ahead in the world, right? Thor's tips. An entertaining way to group the basic principles of alchemy is to read some of the many novels devoted to the topic. Among the among the best are Paolo Coelho, the Alchemist. I'm not reading all them out, guys. Right, the kinds of alchemy. Because in the most basic terms, alchemy is the art of transformation. The best way to study the different aspects of alchemy is to focus on what is being transformed and then devote our attention to these types of alchemy throughout the rest of the book. Spiritual alchemy. The most popular reason for studying alchemy today is to reconnect with spiritual realities. In this approach to alchemy, the gold of the alchemist is not common metal gold, but an inner spiritual gold. Using meditation to penetrate the symbolic imaginary of pizza son, thank you. Using meditation to penetrate the symbolic imaginary of alchemy, the seeker attempts to transform the dark, heavy, karmic lead of the soul into the bright, purified, and incorruptible gold of spirit. I discuss the techniques of spiritual alchemy in chapter 19. So, welcome in everybody. So, basically, the first chapter and things is going to be about the spiritual alchemy. But it really is a good book. Carl Jung is a dude I have studied for years for analytic psychology. He's the guy who coined the term shadow. Yeah, that's what alchemy comes in, isn't it? Shadow and synchronicity. His work was taken some bizarre twists with some new agents, etc. Yeah, welcome in, Christy. Welcome in, Eva. See, so it's already kind of resonating with you here. So basically, it's representing for all gold, silver, and I do believe it's lead. in our physical form is something that we can build things with. It's also it also breaks it down spiritually. So it's interesting the way the book goes on. Honestly, you'll get it. I got it. I started to get it about chapter 2, and well, I actually started to get it straight away about the connection. But the more the book goes on into chapter 2 and 3, the more you start to think, oh, right, so that's how that works, and the more you kind of get a grip on how the universe is. So that's the spiritual alchemy. Psychological alchemy. Alchemy not only gave birth to chemistry, but also to modern psychology. The alchemists were the first to treat psychological problems as chemical imbalances in the body. They believed the powers of the metals were expressed in humans as our basic instincts and emotions, and these could be transformed into the nobler aspects of treason and enlightenment through alchemic process. Carl Jung did groundbreaking work in the area of alchemy, and you learn more about his work in chapter 18. So, artistic alchemy. Throughout history, alchemy has had a tremendous influence in the creative arts. Early Egyptian early Egyptian alchemists were experts in capturing essences in oils and perfumes and applying colours and metals to jewellery and sculptures. Today, many artists working with metal, glass, enamels, perfumes, and other media considered themselves part of the alchemic tradition and adhere to its principles. Alchemical, alchemical art trends to use materials in ways that make them appear to be something else, thus revealing their essence in unexpected ways. We can also find similar transformative staging in alchemy, literally theatre, music, and even software games. It's really just about that transforming the emotion into something, and it gets into that. Many filmmakers follow the principles of alchemy to add psychological depth and architectural power to their films. Workers from Paramount Studios even set up an alchemy in film panel in the late 1900s to assist writers in understanding alchemy. Films like 2001 and 2010, like Water for Chocolate, The Fifth Element, The Matrix, Revelation, Full Mantle Alchemist, and The Da Vinci Code are just a few examples where the creators have made conscious use of alchemy in the plot line. Social alchemy. In the last century, the term alchemy became the slogan and rallying point for a variety of movements driven by the human desire to change adverse conditions. These endeavours included trying to change slavery into freedom, sin into grace, folly into wisdom, poverty into wealth, fear into courage, war into peace, sterility into fertility, bureaucracy into democracy, disease into health, and death into immortality. All these social movements borrowed alchemic terms and principles to focus their efforts on changing their status quo. Chapter 22 tells you more about the social alchemy. You see the way that they transform, though, that is what they're trying to say. It's that balance as well, the yin and the yang, the opposite. So that's where alchemy comes in to try and, as above, so below. So much as you've got something here in the solid form, it can also be transformed into the higher forms, the power of it. Practical alchemy, therapeutical alchemy, it goes on and on, guys. Perennial philosophy. I'm going to have to read all this to you, though, so that you get it. So just sit back and listen, guys. Oh, thank you, Krista. Sit back, chill out. I'll read through some of the. What one did I get to? That was social alchemy. I might as well read practical alchemy and therapeutical alchemy as well. And then that's as we go on to the teachings, which is the pineal philosophy. Now, this is where it's going to explain your pineal gland and things and how that connects to your higher self. So I would definitely sit and get your notepads and things out. And also, if you want to, just sit back, take it all in, and then when the live stream's done and you've got your own time, then go back over it and find the teaching in it. I don't know if I'll get to the end of chapter 1 or not. Don't know how long it is or whatever, but sit back and chill out, guys, and just listen to it and then kind of resonate the way that the higher consciousness is also the alchemetic form, as above, so below. So just kind of relate to it. And the book explains it really well. So sit back and I will now read Practical Alchemy. Practical Alchemy deals with the production of tinctures, tonics, oils, compounds, and elixirs that capture healing energy. Such laboratory work also focuses on creating mineral transformations and perfecting the metals commonly associated with changing lead into gold. Now remember, this is why, way back in the times, this is what they were trying to do. They were trying to make lead turn into gold. So through trying to make that process, this is how they figured all this out. Such laboratory work also focuses on creating mineral transformations and perfecting the metals commonly associated with changing lead into gold. Practical alchemy reached its heyday in Europe in the Middle Ages, but in the last 50 years, this kind of work has staged a noticeable resurgence. Basically, it's come up again. You know, put my camera down so I'm not, because I'm not looking at my head. That's a bit better, right? In fact, according to the International Alchemy Guild, IAG, more licensed practical alchemists existed today than any time in history. In part 4, we delve into the intriguing topic and teach you a bit of kitchen alchemy along the way. Therapeutic alchemy. During the last century, we have seen the proliferation of a new breed of alchemical practitioners who focus on ancient healing modalities. Techniques such as alchemical hypnotherapy, dream therapy, and shamanic journeying use imaginary to direct or stimulate healing energy. Oriental alchemist arts like yoga, aikido, tai chi, qi chang, tantra, acupuncture, and reiki have been a profound increase in Western culture. Alchemical bodywork like chiropractor, rolfing, Feldenkrais, biogenics, and polarity therapy have their origin in the work of 19th century alchemists, seeking its solitude, the life force. More modern holistic disciples like aromatherapy, herbology, neuropathy, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, aromatherapy, and reflexology trace their origins in ancient alchematic teachings, and even New Age astrologers, numerologists, and tarot readers all their livelihoods in ancient Egypt and Babylonian alchemists. We study some of their fascinating traditions in more detail in Chapter 2. Tread carefully. Don't be confused by the word variety of possible alchemical transformations. For an alchemist, no real distraction exists between the different kinds of transformation, because the myriad of things in our world are all manifestations of just one thing, the universe's mind and the source of its creation. By focusing on the single divine spark in all things, the alchemist hopes to reveal the essence of substance and situation and guide its growth in a natural state of purification. We learn such more about this in philosophy in part 2. So basically, it's the concept of starting things with that spark. The minute it's like everybody says, the minute you start thinking about doing a spell, that's you started the magic. It's that concept that the minute you think about it, that's you already started the process. Right, the pineal philosophy. Right, one of the reasons for the endurance of alchemy through the ages is that it's based on a fundamental philosophy that has itself exacerbated tremendous staying power in the human mind. The alchemists call it the one true philosophy of the whole world and believe it the first revealed in humanity in ancient Egypt. It is also known as the perennial philosophy because down throughout history it has always resurfaced in some form despite many successful attempts by orthodox authorities to suppress it. So if you look at the picture is basically the circle of life. So here you've got like the weights and things, and then it all goes in and out, and then it all goes up to the universe. So it's basically just giving you like that circle of life where the sun can create. So that heat is one of the manifestation powers. And then also the moon is also a manifestation power as well. The basic idea of the perennial philosophy is that there are certain universal truths common to all cultures and systems of knowledge. The German mathematician, what I shout it's Sparkle. Must be somebody in the garden. The German mathematical Gottfried Leibniz first used the term in this sense when he defined it as the eternal philosophy that underlines all religions. The term, further refined by 20th century philosopher Aldous Huxley, has come to mean that the most basic and everlasting universal truths sensed by all human beings. In other words, down throughout history, people in many different cultures and times have experienced similar feelings about about the nature of reality and the meaning of existence. Differences arise only when authority attempts to control or adapt these basic ideas into a rigid system of behaviour. In the view, the world's nations are religions are constantly fighting each other over minor cultural variations in the same basic belief system. Unlike dogmatic religion, which encourages these petty sectarian disputes, and perennial philosophy states that there are many roads to God as there are many people in the world. The three fundamental terms of alchemy and the perennial philosophy, of which it is part of, are one, the material world. Sorry, wait, I'll get closer to this slide. The material world is not the only reality. Another hidden level of reality exists that determines our existence. The physical world is a shadow or projection of a higher reality than that cannot be grasped by the senses. Only the higher faculties of the human mind and spirit can perceive it. 2. The basic duality of material versus non-material realities is mirrored in human beings. One material body is subject to the physical laws of birth and death. Our non-material body, called our soul or spirit, is not subject to decay or loss and carries the essence of who we are. The divine energy at the heart of everything is known as the quintessential, the fifth element. In alchemy, or the heart of everything is known as the quintessence of the fifth element. In alchemy, or the life force in most other traditions. 3. All human beings possess the capacity to perceive these separate levels of reality, both in themselves and in nature, but we are taught to ignore the subtle clues to the greater reality. The perception and applications of this ultimate truth is in the goal of human beings and the purpose of our existence. So then it goes on to the next paragraph. What makes alchemy different from other mystical systems that are part of the perennial philosophy is that alchemy attempts to apply this wisdom in practical ways in everyday world. No other discipline has taken such a down-to-earth and in-your-face approach to working with its mystical principles. The approach, unfortunately, got a lot of alchemists burnt at the stake
but it also makes alchemy a unique and powerful discipline, a combination of religion and science that makes a lot of sense to people trying to remain true to themselves in the modern world. You find more about being an alchemist in today's world in part 6, Becoming an Alchemist. In this part, becoming an alchemist began with a long apprenticeship of training period that traditionally involved a very specific path of intentions. In the ancient mysterious schools, the teachings were arranged in these three levels of mastery. 1. The philosophy, knowing what is really there. The theoreticum, knowing how it works. The practicum, knowing how to do it. Okay. Obviously, intuitive alchemy was a very personal process that usually involved a one-to-one relationship with an adapt the latest many years. With an adapt the latest many years, I don't know. Oh, adapt there defines it here. Adapt is from the Latin word adeptus, meaning having attained mastery of a subject. Alchemists coined the term in the 1660s and refer specifically to someone who had learned the secret of transforming base metals into gold. Today it is used to mean anyone who is skilled in the secrets of anything. So anytime you hear that word, guys, it means it's somebody that's skilled in that. Okay, so let's go back to where I found that now. Okay, let me read that again. Obviously, intuitive alchemy was a very personal process that usually involved a one-to-one relationship with an adapt, which is that person, that lasted many years. Modern teachings of alchemy takes place in our faster pace on all three levels of intuition at once. On the philosophical level, this objection is to achieve an awareness of the lower and the higher worlds in which the alchemist works. The goal of the theoretical work is to understand how to interact and control the unseen energies of these realms. The practical work is concerned with learning the personal and laboratory techniques of transforming and is, in the turn, presented in three phases: the plant work, the mineral work, and the animal work. This kind of total immersion program takes commitment on the part of both teacher and student, and the biggest danger is that the student will not be fully initiated. Unfortunately, there are no Hogwarts schools or alchemy prepared to give students the kind of personal attention they need for true intention. Nonetheless, we had a number of workable alternatives for persons seeking formal instruction in alchemy. The International Alchemy Guild, which is IAG, is a good place to inquire about practicing alchemists who take on students in your area. You can approach them, guys, and get lessons in it. Some graduates of the Pancreas Research Society will take on students. This institute, originally based in Colorado, was formed by alchemist Albert Riedel, known as Fraser Albertus. Unfortunately, the premier school for practical alchemy in the United States closed its doors in 1984. When Riedel died, Dr. Joseph Lebowski, who founded Paracelsus College in 1982, carried on his work in Australia. The school has 7-year curriculum of plant, mineral, and alchemy. So they teach it, guys. Before it closed in 2000, oh no, they're closed. Before it closed in 2000, the Philosophers of Nature (PON) offered a 2-year course in plant work and 7-year course in mineral work. The course manuals are still available from Triad Publishing. French alchemist John Duby wrote the material, which was taught by American alchemist Russ and Sue House. So you can look them up, guys, and they can maybe help you with the books. The Institute of Hermetic Studies, which is IHS of Pennsylvania, under the direction of author Mark Stravish, offers seminars on minerals and plant alchemy. So does alchemist Paul Bratcher and Mika Nilsson and Alchemy in Oregon. John Reefer offers a free online course on plant alchemy, and Scottish archivist Adam McLean offers several online courses in deciphering alchemy symbols. Right, we don't need that information. In the largest school of alchemy in the world, with over 500 students in 12 countries. So basically, I was just telling you that. Right, the least you need to know. Right, the simplest and most accepted definition of alchemy is that this is the teaching in that chapter. So the least you need to know. The simplest and most accepted definition of alchemy is that it is the art of transformation. So basically, it starts with that idea, guys, and that is where you transform anything. It can be an idea you've got for your birthday, it can be an idea you've got for absolutely anything. That is you practicing alchemy if you manage to put that. Like, say, I want a lighter, I need a lighter right now, and then somehow I get a lighter. That is me manifested that. That is alchemy. It doesn't matter how you kind of get it, as long as that comes, that is the root of alchemy. So the next principle of it is today the principles of alchemy can be found at work in psychology, business management, art, literature, filmmaking, software development, and many other creature endeavours. Modern alchemy consists of 6 branches: spiritual, psychological, artistic, social, practical, and therapeutic. Alchemy is part of the perennial philosophy, the basis tenet of which holds that certain universal truths and common to all cultures and belief systems. So basically, it breaks down all that. See your Mercury and all that type of thing. It kind of stays on that basis of giving you the facts, if it's all out there, and how you are also a being in this world can manifest on the other side. It's about bridging that gap in your mind, and this book teaches you how to do it. Alchemy is, right, I've done that one. On one, receival formal training in alchemy through the apprenticeship tradition has largely given way to correspondence and online training. But this book does tell you guys, see if you stick with it and read it. I advise you all to try and get the book, because me reading it to you'll get all the you would get it better if you read it yourself and took your time with it. Welcome in, Sister Sherry. Welcome in, Tony. Welcome in, everybody. That's okay, Evie. Do what you need to do, sis. So basically, this book is going to teach you how you bridge that gap between as above, so below. Basically, that is what it's telling you. That's just how it explains it to you. This is what you're doing. You're learning how to go from that idea of anything into manifesting it to a solid thing. So chapter 2, guys, is the first alchemist. In this chapter, ancient alchemist manuscripts, a gift from the gods, Thoth, the father of alchemy, the mysterious pillars of Hems, secrets of the emerald tablet, the line between myth and reality. The roots of alchemy are buried in legend and mystery. Allegedly, the earliest books of alchemy appeared all at once, as if they had been locked away for safekeeping and were suddenly released. At the beginning of the first millennium, all around the world, alchemical principles exploded into human consciousness, and these same ideas continue to inspire us to this day. However, alchemists point to the heavens, not books, for their origin of the craft and ancient Egyptian writings seem to back them up. 3,000-year-old scrolls describe visitors from the firmamental who came to Egypt and shared their knowledge of the universe, including the art of alchemy. See, they basically taught them how to use all the elements to get what they want. One document contains a succinct summary of the ancient wisdom. In this engraved on green crystalline tablet that became known as the Emerald Tablet, and is the chapter who used the emerald tablet to grasp the philosophy behind the alchemy, lost gems of knowledge. The first known alchemy book appeared almost simultaneously in Egypt, Mesopotamia, India, and China over 2,000 years ago, and most modern historians date the birth of alchemy to that period. This was the area of the Great Library of Alexandria, and ships visiting the busy Egyptian port carried alchemical manuscripts around the world. However, those early writings quote even more ancient texts and refer to the lost traditions that goes back to the dawn of civilization. All we can say with certainty is that 3000 CE, the principles of alchemy were widely accepted by philosophers, priests, and craftsmen in civilized nations around the world. Hundreds of parchment scrolls, clay tablets, and papyri existed that dealt with alchemical principles and processing. Yet to this day, the true source of the knowledge remains unknown. Although references to alchemical principles are found in Egyptian scrolls dating back to 15,000 BCE, the original canon of texts from which these principles were derived from vanished. The early alchemy manuscripts that have survived are a remarkably circumvolute style and obscure references to pre-existing concepts and are filled with secret ciphers and cryptic symbols for which no explanation is given. The gods of alchemy. Despite the difficulty in pinning down the historical source of alchemy, the answer to the question of where alchemy came from is almost unanimously among alchemists. Most alchemists agree that their art originated in the Egypt during a known time as Zep Tepe. In the tradition, alchemy is literally a gift from the gods. According to legend, a connectment of godlike beings settled in Egypt and exhibited an advanced spiritual technology that enabled them to transform matter. These angelic visitors were the first alchemists. They practiced their art in Horomonthe, a temple hidden near the Nile River. That name, Zep-Tepe, is an ancient Egyptian phrase meaning first time. It refers to an epoch over 12,000 years ago that divine beings arrived through the void to settle in Egypt. The gods shared their wisdom and civilized the primitive humans. Ooh, there you go. Right. According to hieroglyphic texts, the visitors originated from different levels in the firmament, and their bodies were more subtle than humans. Whether for purpose or breeding or out of sheer lust, the visitors were described as unable to resist the temptations of the flesh and desperately wanted to marry young women and have children. The result of these unions were described as giants who had dominion over the earth and its creatures. Oddly, the idea of angelic visitors lusting after humans is part of many religious texts around the world. Genesis 6 1 to 5 describes fallen angels who wanted the children with their daughters of men. In exchange, they taught men magic and metallurgy, had how to make tinctures to capture the essence of plants. The story is elaborated in considerable detail in the Old Testament. So basically, they're trying to say that these beings came to earth, and in exchange for their women, they taught the men how to extract stuff from herbs and use herbs. Who were the mysterious visitors in ancient Egypt? Zosimus, the father of Greek alchemy, who lived in Alexandria around 3000 CE, wrote that fallen angels who had children with humans taught mankind alchemy and all the arts of nature. And he insisted that legends predated history and were literally true. Tyrolean and many early Heretic writers spoke of this same superhuman race and their interaction with humans. The alchemist Clement and Alexandria said the visitor laid bare their secrets of metals, understood the virtues of plants and the force of magical intentions, and their learning even extended to the science of the stars. So basically, they're trying to say that these beings came down and interacted with the Egyptians and gave them all the knowledge of the stars and how to empower themselves with oils and herbs and things. In ancient Egypt, texts called Isis the prophetess of her son Horus. Isis began teaching her son the principles of alchemy and tells him how they acquired her skills. According to her history, she had gone to Hosamonte, that name again, to learn the sacred art and met one of the visitors who was overcome by physical lust for her. Isis agreed to satisfy his hunger if he would disclose the secrets, but he refused. Eventually, she met a visitor named Amanuel, Amayo, Amnael, who agreed to her demands, and Isis was initiated into the mysteries of alchemy. According to legend, Isis, her brother and sister, her husband Osiris, and five similar beings beings settled in Heliopolis, which became the centre of the alchemists in Egypt. The myth of Isis and Osiris helped explain the mysteries of alchemy and are retold many times in the writings of alchemists. We cannot determine whether the ancient myths contain any literal truth, but there is no doubt that the alchemists felt their impaired deep wisdom about the true origin of the craft. There you go, guys. Shows you, telling you. Not until Alexandria and the great conqueror Egypt and became the pharaohs in 332 BCE did knowledge of the tablets' existence spread. Historical documents show that Alexander travelled to Siwa, where he retrieved the writings of Thoth and the tablet. He then took the items with him to Memphis and then on to Hermopolis. There's the Emerald Tablet there. I can't read it, it's too wee. The treasures of Alexandria. The Pillars of Hems were said to contain over 300 scrolls in addition to the Emerald Tablet, and reports indicate that Alexander moved them to the Temple of Heliopolis in 1332 BCE and put them on public display. Researchers, mainly P. Hall, found fragments of a letter from one traveller who had seen the Emerald Tablet in Heliopolis. "It is a precious stone like an emerald," wrote the man, "whereon these characters are represented in blue, in base belief, not engraved into the stone. It is esteemed above 2,000 years old. Plainly the matter of this emerald had once been in a fluid state, like melted glass, and had been cast as a mould, and to this flux the artist had given the hardness of a natural and genuine emerald by his art." Hence, scholars believe that Alexander built the great library at Alexandrian Priority to house the study, the Thothian materials, and the writings of a scribe from the Temple of Heliopolis confirmed the view. His name was Manethus or something, which means gift of Thoth. One of the first scribes allowed access to the content of the pillars. He wrote that the writings were more than 9,000 years old and had contained the symbols of all knowledge. Unfortunately, only a few. See, guys, this to let you understand, on the tablet it's meant to be all the signs for Mercury, all the signs for every single symbolic symbol that there is that you could want for salt, water. Every single symbol is meant to be on that tablet that man should need. Unfortunately, only a few of Manthos's works survived the burning of the Great Library of Alexandria. Some of his letters to Ptolemy II survived, as well as one of the books called Sabbatus. In the book Manthos wrote after the Great Flood, the hieroglyphics texts written by Thoth were translated from the sacred language into Greek and deposited into books and the sanctuaries of Egyptian temples. See, basically, man got their hand on these tablets. The original tablet, supposed to be, and only selected so many so they could control man. But there is meant to be proof out there of all the other ones. And I think through time they have added to that. There's a lot added. There was so many to start off with, but through time they've added other ones that they've figured out. So they're slowly growing the tab again. Menethos wrote that the magical book of Thoth, written in the hand of Thoth himself, was kept in a locked gold box in the inner sanctuary of the temple of Hermopolis, and only one priest at a time was entrusted with the key. According to some historians, an occult brotherhood known as the Sons of Horus were formed before the Arab invasion of Egypt to preserve Thoth's book and his other teachings, as well as the complete works of Manthos. The alchemist Clement of Alexandria was given access to the secret documents around 170 CE, but that is the last recorded reference to this original material. The fate of the Emerald Tablet. When Alexandria left Egypt in 33-1 BCE, he headed north to Cappadocia and Mesopotamia. According to some reports, he took the treasures from the pillars of Hems and stored them in an underground Cappadocia. Alexandria went on to conquer all the remaining territory from Babylonia to India, but died on the return trip in 323 BCE. Alexander's final wish was to be buried near the temple of Sawaya in Egypt, but his tomb has never been found. The legend picks up again in Cappadocia in 32 CE, when a boy named Belanus was exploring caves outside the city of Titaean and discovered the ancient texts hidden by Alexander. The precocious lad took a 5-year vow of silence as he absorbed the materials and then sought out teachers, verses, and Hermetic philosophy to complete his education. He became known as Apollonius of Tyre and was renowned for his magical skills and healing abilities. He is said to have returned the tablet to Alexandria around 70 CE and made the enlightening city his home. He wrote more of the books in Alexandria, though he continued to travel the world, inspiring everyone he met with the great wisdom. As for the Emerald Tablet, a new report record was buried for safekeeping in a vault on the Gaza Plateau around 400 CE, but no trace of it has ever been found. No one known for sure is there such an artifact as the Emerald Tablet, but several expeditions have been undertaken to search for it. From The Alchemist. The earliest surviving translation of the Emerald Tablet is an Arabic book of Balamis, The Wise of Causes. I've got it here. I'll copy it here. Where is it, my dear? It's there. I've got the copy. Basically, this is meant to give you all the different symbols and secrets of life and things. I've never read it, guys. I've never got round to reading it. From Idaho Shah, The Truth, Certainty, Truths with... I don't know. I need to sit and read it. I don't even know what that's going to say. So, basically that is that. The legend of Thoth's Hems. In the history of alchemy, the line between myth and reality has always been blurred. To the Egyptians, Thoth, the father of alchemy, was a divine being, the custodian custodian of all knowledge, and intermediate link between heaven and earth. However, several modern authors have looked at the evidence and concluded that Thoth was a real person, a survivor from the lost continent of Atlantis, or even an extraterrestrial, yet his mystical status cannot be denied. The Romans identified Thoth with Mercury, their winged god who carried messages between gods and men. In fact, nearly every ancient culture has some mythical figure that can be associated with Thoth. To the Greeks, Thoth became Hermes, a priest, a philosopher, an alchemist who lived in Egypt around the time of Moses. His Latin name Hermes Trismegistus means thrice greatest Hermes, and refers to his unique mastery of all three levels of reality: the physical, the spiritual, and the mental planes of earth, heaven, and everything between. He was viewed as a gentle teacher, much more accessible than Thoth. In fact, 13 manuscripts known as the Corpus Hermeticum are attributed to him. These alchemical and astrological teachings from the Alexandrian period were unknown in the West until 1471, when the Italian astrologer Marcello Ficini translated them into Latin. Many alchemists believe Hermes Trismegistus was a real person who supposedly lived for a century and travelled throughout the world. Because so many later authors wrote under his name, it may have seemed like Hermes lived for hundreds of years. Nevertheless, historical documents attest to his presence in Sicily in India and Babylonia, where the Arab venerated him as the first person who have shared his knowledge of the art of alchemy. The staff of Hermes. The primary symbol of Hermes is the Kadakis, and a strange Greek legend relates known he came to possess it. One day a Greek seer named Tiresias was hiking on Mount Kylion and discovered two snakes copulating alongside the road. In an effort to separate the rattlesnakes, he stuck his walking staff between them. Immediately, Tiresias was turned into a woman and remained so for 7 years, until once again he found two copulating serpents and separated them with his staff. At that moment, Tiresias was transformed back into a man. The magical staff, complete with its entwined snakes, was considered too dangerous for anyone to use and was hidden in a cave on Mount Kylion. The cave, marked by an upright stone pillar, would eventually become the birthplace of the Book of Hermes, the home of Hermes. While still a young man, he found the Caduceus and eventually learned to harness its power for healing. The Caduceus bears a striking resemblance to the double helix of proteins that make up DNA. So basically, they're trying to say that the components of that was the same as a human's DNA, so therefore it could transform things, which is the basic blueprint of all life. Several modern authors have suggested that the similarity is a clue that Thoth or someone associated with him manipulating our genetic structure to speed up human evolution within the last 40,000 years. Today, Hem's staff has become the chief logo of the medical profession, and there are certainly more representations of Hemeratic symbols in the world today than if you think about it, that is like the sword with the serpent going on it. The symbol is the world today than at any other time in history. Scholars insist it all began with the Greek healer Ecapulus, at the beginning, who adapted the Caduceus to symbolise healing. Basically, he mastered how to put symbols down so that you could learn how to heal. Who adapted the Caduceus to symbolise healing, though the connection goes back much further to the original Hermes. he translated on the tablet basically, and so that people could understand how the elements work and things. The Ebers Papyrus is a 68-foot long scroll that has the oldest surviving book in the world, telling us man's guide to Thoth, who bestows on him the gift of speech, who makes the books and eliminates those who are learned therein, and the physicians who follow him that may work cures. So basically he's wrote down it all. He's translated it onto a great big scroll so that man can understand it. Hermetic philosophy. The esoteric teachings of the Thoth and Hermes make up the philosophic foundations of alchemy, and these ideas are summarized in the Emerald Tablet. Take a moment to read the tablet and try to absorb. That's the tablet there, guys. I'm trying to look at it to find it. It's really the blueprint of life. It's like as above, so below, but I wish you could have. It would be better if you had your own book and you could sit and look at it. Basically, it's just showing you how the evolution works. Take a moment to read the tablet and try and absorb its meaning before consulting any other sources. It often helps you write the tablet in your own words. Nearly every medieval alchemist, from Albertus Magnus to Isaac Newton, had his own version of the Emerald Tablet that guided him in his work. Perhaps the easiest way to grasp the principle expressed in the Emerald Tablet is by viewing them pictorially. Renaissance alchemists spent many hours meditating on the hermetic symbols depicted. So basically, you could pick the sun to meditate on it. You could pick the moon out the picture to meditate on. Perhaps the tabulus, which basically you could do that. And then basically it's about meditation, guys. As like you can do in meditation, you can practice on a symbol, focus on a symbol, and see where it takes you. You know. Let's take a short tour of the engraving to gather some basic insights to deepen your understanding of the Emerald Tablet. Let's listen to this, then I'll try and read it clearly. The first thing you notice about the engraving is its sharp division into above and below sections. The above is the spiritual realm of light and divine union, while the below is the material realm of matter and duality. Next, we see two great suns rising over the horizon. The larger sun is the background and the infallible one mind, whose rays encompass the whole universe. So basically that's like your outlook onto the world, whose rays encompass the whole universe. In front of this is a smaller sun known as Mind the Maker. This we can think of as the mind of the nature or the physical laws of the created world. Mind the Maker is an important and controversial Hermetic concept that would have gotten you burnt at the stake if you had spoken of it in the Middle Ages. It implies that the ultimate God does not directly participate in our world. Instead, the Word of God was projected into our reality like a template or a computer program. With the Emerald Tablet calls the pattern, in the drawing, these crystallizations, thoughts of gods, are represented by the angels embedded in the smaller sun. That's to show you the concept of God, that he is a higher being with angels. The humanistic concept does not mean the alchemists did not believe in God. On the contrary, they sought to reveal and perfect the original divine light in everything. This is the true nature of the great work, and it begins below in the duality of matter. So basically, it's trying to say that what you can manifest something below, and then look what as above, so below. It's just that whatever you can manifest here, you can also manifest above. Whatever you can manifest above, you can manifest here. So crazy when you think it. The principles of the Emerald Tablet are recognized by many modern movements, such as Akhenaten and the Secret, are one part of the teachings of the most esoteric organization, such as the Razartius and the Golden Dawn. For instance, one famous text on Freemasonry, morals and dogma says, he who desires to attain the understanding of the grand word and the possession of the great secret must take for the key of the allergies, the single dogma of Hems continued in the Tablet of Emerald. We see the duality of our existence in the division of the below into left and the right sections. On the left is the daytime realm of solar energy and the masculine symbol. On the right is the nighttime realm of lunar energy and feminine symbol. At the centre of the below is the Hermaphatic Hems, who wields two starry axes. He has cut the chains that bind us to the world below and realizes the full power of the archetypical forces above. As the heart of the engraving is bull's-eye's target, dissecting the one thing of the universe, the 7 layers of this sphere must be peeled away like an onion to reveal the hidden essence of soul matter. Guys, it makes so much sense. I wish you could get a copy. Honestly, put it on your Christmas list. You have time. I hope you can get an understanding of it with me just reading it though. Right, okay, the least you need to know. So that's what you have to take from that chapter. The teaching of the chapter, basically, we'll call it. The least you should know. The mythical origins of alchemy go back to the ancient Egypt during a period known as the Zep Tepe. Thor is considered the father of alchemy, and his teachings were passed down to us, sealed in the fabled pillars of Hermes. Hermes is the Greek god associated with Thor, Thoth, who was known as Hermes Trismegistus to the medieval Europe. The Emerald Tablet is a succulent summary of Hermetic philosophy and an alchemical principles. So basically, Thor taught his everything to Hermes, and Hermes was the one that went out into the world and tried to teach it to people. He's the one that got it translated into all different forms. So, guys, that has been an hour and 10 minutes. Welcome in, everybody. I'm going to talk to you a little minute about it while you get the concept of that. So that's kind of the concept of it you'll learn. And in a couple of days, we'll go into it deeper. I'll go through the book and I'll write down what I know you need to know. And I'll kind of skip it. So think about that. What kind of pizza did Liam get? Cheese. So it'll be useful. It's cold. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Tonight was just a little introduction, I would say, to alchemy teachings. That is just giving you a little bit of a concept of what it means. It means bridging that gap between as above, so below. It's about learning to work with that concept of manifesting what you can't see into what is reality. So that alchemy bit about how the first couple of chapters is going to be like that, just trying to break you into it. But as you go along, welcome in, everybody. Nice to see you, Gemma. I hope you're good, sister. As we go along, you will start to get the teaching of it. And it also breaks down a little bit about the planets and things and how at certain times of the day, at certain times of the year, at certain times of the moon phases and things, it makes it easier to penetrate those barriers. Yeah, you'll love it. See, once we get right into it and things, and you learn what I learned about how to work with it, And the concept of doing it really does make it easier. It also, when I read it, it gave me a better understanding of how the universe really does work. Because most of us think, oh, there's only a sky and there's stars and things. But each of these stars have got a place why we're here. And who knows what's on the stars? Welcome in. Oh, welcome in, Curtis. Didn't see you there. Remember, everybody, come to Sister Sherry's channel at 11 o'clock. We have got 50 minutes. And we were going to be lighting some candles. I think Mystical's coming up as well. And thank you for that super chat. Who was it that gave me again? Christy, thank you very much for that. That is appreciated. Thank you. So we're going to light some candles, push out some loving energy to the universe. That's okay, Mystical Sis. As I said, just go back over it, guys, if you want to get a better understanding. I know the big words are a little bit annoying. That's how I ask you all to get your own book. Welcome in, mister. I watched that 9-hour stream that you did last night. I watched the full 9 hours. Well, I didn't watch the full 9 hours. That's a lie. The first 3, maybe 4, I kind of skipped because I was there and watching and things. But I have got loads of notes took down that I'm going to go over with Sister Sherry with you all. What I found really interesting that I'll address just now. See little Robbie from Beth's that was William. Well, I've got a theory, right, that little William that was in the doll is now Robbie. And he is now living another reincarnation of his life. So at one point he was William. And now he's on to the reincarnation he was of this Robert character. But he's trying to reassure Beth that he is there no matter what form he's in, whether he's being a boy at 8-year-old as William or he's being Robbie as a teenager. He's going to always be a spirit guide. Just that at different times he might come through as different people. That's kind of what I got for watching that back today. So definitely, and remember guys, we are live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. UK time on Mystical's channel. I know we weren't live last week, but we are live this week. So definitely go over and hit those reminders. I think it's up. So what did you think of that, guys? Is it something that you are wanting me to continue with reading and try and help you teach you the principles behind it? 6-year-old sis, well, whatever age he is, 6. You know, I've got a funny feeling that he's the other reincarnated soul of the same person. Just the way that it was working out, the way you were speaking, that was the kind of idea I got from it, is that he's maybe the same person, it's just another reincarnated soul. Good, Sister Phoenix, order the book. Yeah, definitely get the book if you can, guys. Because it really does, and it gives you, I missed out a lot on it. Because if you look at the side, did I find one? At the side of it, there's a lot of bits like this that kind of break down different meanings. So they are useful. But I will go over the book with you guys just till I feel you are getting the principle of how you can work with that energy. It helps you get an understanding of how it works so that when you go on to do your spell work, that you can focus, you can ground yourself. You can ground yourself and get to a place where you're in balance. It gets you to a place where, when I started it and I started trying to manifest things, that this book helped me to ground myself. It helped me to realise that if I want to manifest something that's coming from the higher energies, then I need to be grounded here. I need to be stably grounded so that when I'm doing the work above, it's a yin and yang as Amora works with. It's like trying to grasp a bit of those two and then work with it. Like your male energy, your female energy as well. It's about finding that balance and working with both. And it's interesting the way that it teaches you how to do it. It teaches the knowledge behind it so that when you go on to do it, and use it as a concept, you understand it. So therefore it's making your magic work easier. And it really is only understanding that whatever you do in this world does affect you above there. And if you can get that concept into your whole being, that whatever you put out is going to come back to you, whether it's love and light, whether it's dark energy, whatever it is, it always comes back. It's that concept as well. As above, so below. Whatever you push out, you'll pull in. Well, no necessarily. Well, yeah, you can't put the barriers up. So I hope this is something you are all going to like. I'm going to go heat that pizza up a little bit and go eat it before we go on Sister Sherry's, and I'll give the spirits a little bit as well. So we'll do another hour in a couple of days, guys, and I hope that you get the book, Phoenix, and we'll kind of go through it together then, and I hope you understand it. And Iron, you'll probably already know where I'm coming from, because you're kind of already spiritually connected. Iron's very spiritually connected, guys, and she understands a lot of things. She's done a lot of research. We need to try and get her up more. Yeah, definitely, Iron. Do we see what she's saying here? I just started reading William Blake's stuff again. Haven't read it in over 40 years. Alchemy threads throughout it, all of his stuff. Yeah, it's really giving you an understanding of it. I think the Hems tablet and the Emerald tablet, I think it was made, I don't know if it really was a thing, to be honest, or if it's just an idea or a teaching, but it really is to do with all the different elementals in the world that you'll ever need to use. It's to do with it, your salt, your sugar, anything that is mineral, crystal, anything at all, everything and anything and everything. So if you imagine you had that knowledge and you were a scientist, you can basically make anything you ever wanted in this physical realm. I'm reading Under the Witching Tree at the minute. We're reading loads of my book or 4 by. Yeah, Karen, not finished. See, I'm like that. I didn't finish that one. As soon as I understood it, that was me. I was out. He says this. It says, hold up the book, please. I got that Emerald Tablet of Hems. That wee one. It's not. It's a very thin book, guys. It just really, and it looks like this. It just gives you like, as if it was a recipe book. See, it gives you basically it gives you ideas of how the world works, as far as I can gather. That's what it means. History of the tablet, largely summarised from Himalayan in 1957. The tablet probably appeared in the West in addition to the Postus Astosilis Secretum Secretorium, which was actually a translation of the Kitab Star Atar, a book of advice to kings, which was translated into Latin by Johannes Hepatius and by Philip of Tripoli c. 1243. Other translations of the tablet may have been made during the same period by Plato Tevroli and Hugh of Santala, perhaps from different sources. The date of the Kitab Sar al-Star is uncertain, though c. 800 has been suggested, and it is not clear when the tablet became part of this work. Holmyard was the first to find another early Arabic version. Ruska found a 12th century recognition claiming to have been dictated by Sergius of Nablus. In the Kitab Astaqwal el-Usa el-Tani, second book of the Elements of Foundations, attribute to Kajab, shortly after Ruska found another version appended to the Kitab Star. Okilake was San al-Atabi's book of the secrets of creation and the art of nature, which is also known as the Kitab Bilanius al-Kakam Fatale, book of Balamus, the wise of the causes. It has been proposed that this book was written Many have been written in early as 6050 and was definitely finished by the Caliphate of Al-Manan in 1833. Scholars have seen similarities between this book and the Syriac Book of Treasures written by Jacob of Odyssia, the 9th century, and more interestingly the Greek writings of the Bishop of Tremesis, Nemesis and Nemesa. So basically it's just a breakdown, guys, of all the different things that Hems guy figured out. It'll be interesting to go through. I've never ever actually tried to read it. This is true. Translation from Aurelian Occultite philosopher Giorgio Bito. This is true and remote from all cover of falsehood. Number 2. Whatever is below is similar to that which is above. Though this is a marvels of the work of one thing and procured and preferred. Also, number 3. Also, all things are made from one by the consideration of one. So all things were made from that one thing by conjunction. Which is true because it takes one person, one idea to manifest something, really. So it's just really breaking down that concept that one thing can create anything. That's true, the one you were reading. Oh, the one I was reading from the beginning. See, this is an updated version. There isn't an original Idiot's Book to Alchemy. And it's by Dennis William Hawke. It's definitely the magic and mystery of the ancient craft revealed today. And it really does break it down, honestly. See, I needed to... See, when I started to go do the spell work and things, I've told all the sisters that and a lot of people that follow me. I needed to know that it was possible. Because to me, if you just sat a herb down or whatever, and you're like, oh, do something, you're kind of like fooling yourself. So I wanted to know that it was possible, whatever I was ordering that to do, that it was possible to do, that people had done it before. And all the knowledge of manifestation, all the knowledge of being able to create what you want in this world for yourself, I wanted to know that really was true. So I sought the answers in science. I had to find out for myself if it was possible. And this book shows you that it is possible. Even if you're not a witch, it shows you the magic behind the concept. This is what a lot of people, this is why it tells you about the different alchemies, because people, even the psychological people that try to break down your mental health, they use this concept. It's just that they use it in a different way. Each person can break it down to whatever they need it for. It's just that concept of whatever you want to create, you can create it in this side, or you can create it in the other side, and you can use both energies to manifest it. Bye, Misty. Thank you for coming in, sis. So, let's go and get ready for the next stream, which is over on my beautiful sister Sherry's channel, and I do believe Mystical's coming up with us. So we have got us 3 amigos again. The 3 amigos. So I'll go for now, guys. I'll go heat that pizza up, get a couple of cigarettes and things rolled, and then I'll be back. And remember, go hit all those links on each other. Send out positive vibes to Uncle Dan and healing. And let's get him better, guys. Okay, I will catch you in half an hour. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Bye, guys. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for the gift. Honestly, see, when I get a gift in money and things like that, it makes me want to cry, because I think people are actually willing to pay money to listen to me, to little me. It does. It makes me... Right, okay, guys, I'm away. Bye-bye. I'll see you soon. I'll put the banner up so you can say cheerio. So you can say cheerio, farewell, au revoir, goodbye, see you soon, not now.